Imagine a night cloaked in darkness. The air is thick with anticipation and dread. This is Egypt, and a powerful pharaoh holds the Israelites captive. Generations have toiled under his rule, their cries for freedom ignored. But tonight, something extraordinary is about to happen. Tonight, the angel of death will visit Egypt. This is not a random act of cruelty. It is a divine judgment, the 10th and final plague designed to break Pharaoh's stubborn will and liberate the Israelites. The Egyptians have witnessed nature turn against them, water transformed into blood, swarms of locusts devouring their crops, and a plague of darkness engulfing the land. Yet Pharaoh remains defiant. Now the stage is set for a night of terror and deliverance, a night that will forever be etched in the memory of both Egyptians and Israelites, a night that continues to resonate thousands of years later, offering profound lessons about faith, justice, and the enduring power of hope. God, in His infinite mercy, provided a way for the Israelites to escape the angel of death's deadly judgment. He instructed them to sacrifice a lamb without blemish and mark their doorposts with its blood. This blood would serve as a sign, a visual plea for protection. Imagine the Israelites huddled in their homes, carefully following God's instructions. The weight of their impending freedom, mingled with the fear of the approaching plague, must have been palpable. The act of painting the blood on their doorposts was more than a ritual. It was an act of faith, a tangible expression of their trust in God's promise of deliverance. This blood, a symbol of life given and taken, would become a beacon of hope in the darkest of nights. It would differentiate the Israelites from the Egyptians, marking them as God's chosen people, destined for freedom. As the night deepened, a hush fell over Egypt. The angel of death, a harbinger of sorrow, moved silently through the land. He entered homes unmarked by the blood of the Lamb, bringing swift and indiscriminate death to every firstborn, from the heir to Pharaoh's throne to the firstborn of the lowliest prisoner. Imagine the terror that gripped the Egyptians as the cries of grief and despair echoed through the streets. The once mighty Pharaoh, now brought to his knees by the death of his own son, finally understood the cost of his defiance. The angel of death's passage left an indelible mark on Egypt, a chilling reminder of the power of God and the folly of challenging His will. The night of the Passover was a night of profound sorrow for the Egyptians, a night when their world was irrevocably changed. But for the Israelites, it was a night of liberation, a night when they took their first steps towards freedom. As the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, a new day dawned for the Israelites. The angel of death had passed over their homes, leaving them untouched. The blood on their doorposts had served its purpose, a silent testament to God's protection and faithfulness. With Pharaoh's spirit broken, the Israelites were finally allowed to leave Egypt. They departed with haste, carrying their meager possessions and the memory of God's miraculous deliverance. The Passover, forever etched in their hearts and minds, became a defining moment in their history, a testament to God's power and love for His chosen people. This exodus from Egypt marked the beginning of a new chapter for the Israelites. No longer slaves in a foreign land, they were now a free people, bound for a promised land where they could worship God freely and build a nation of their own. The story of the angel of death passing over Egypt is not just an ancient tale. It's a narrative that continues to resonate thousands of years later. It's a story about faith, obedience, and the enduring power of hope, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. The Passover, commemorating this miraculous event, is celebrated annually by Jewish people around the world. It's a time for families to gather to retell the story of the Exodus and to reflect on its profound lessons. The Seder, a ritual-filled meal, brings the story to life, with each element symbolizing a different aspect of the Israelites' journey to freedom. The Passover story transcends religious boundaries. It speaks to the human spirit's innate longing for freedom, justice, and deliverance from oppression. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, hope can endure and miracles can happen. The story of the angel of death passing over Egypt highlights timeless truths that are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. It underscores the importance of faith, obedience, and trust in a higher power. The Israelites, by following God's instructions and marking their doorposts with lamb's blood, demonstrated their unwavering faith in His promise of protection. Their obedience, even in the face of fear and uncertainty, ultimately led to their deliverance. This story reminds us that even when we don't fully understand God's plan, we can find solace and strength in trusting His guidance. It encourages us to walk by faith, not by sight, and to believe that even in the midst of trials, deliverance is possible. The story of the angel of death passing over Egypt might seem like an ancient tale confined to the pages of history, but its message of hope, redemption, and the power of faith resonates deeply in our modern world. We too face challenges and uncertainties, moments of darkness and despair. Just as the Israelites found hope in the midst of their suffering, we can find solace in knowing that we are not alone in our struggles. The Passover story reminds us that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, there is always hope. It encourages us to hold on to faith, to trust in a power greater than ourselves, and to believe that even in the darkest of nights, dawn will eventually break. Section 8. The Power of Symbols, the Passover Seder. The Passover Seder, a central part of the Passover celebration, is more than just a meal. It's a living, breathing testament to the power of storytelling and the importance of keeping traditions alive. Each element of the Seder plate, from the bitter herbs to the unleavened bread, symbolizes a different aspect of the Israelites' journey to freedom. The Seder is a time for families to gather, to share stories, and to reflect on the meaning of freedom. It's a chance to connect with our heritage, to remember the sacrifices of those who came before us, and to instill in future generations the importance of fighting for justice and equality. The Seder is a powerful reminder that history is not just a collection of dates and events. It's a living tapestry woven from the threads of our collective memory. By keeping these traditions alive, we ensure that the lessons of the past continue to guide and inspire us in the present. Section 9. A Story for All Time, Sharing the Message. The story of the angel of death passing over Egypt is not just a Jewish story, it's a human story. It's a story that speaks to the universal desire for freedom, justice, and deliverance from oppression. It's a story that transcends cultural and religious boundaries, offering a message of hope and redemption for all people. It's a story that deserves to be shared, discussed, and reflected upon. By understanding the historical context and the profound lessons embedded within this ancient narrative, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the power of faith, the importance of standing up for what's right, and the enduring nature of hope. Let us share this story with our families, friends, and communities. Let us use it as a springboard for dialogue, understanding, and compassion. Let us ensure that the message of the Passover continues to resonate for generations to come. Section 10. The Importance of Remembrance. Never forget. The Passover story reminds us of the importance of remembrance. By recounting the story of the Exodus year after year, the Jewish people keep the memory of their ancestors' suffering and their miraculous deliverance alive. Remembrance is not just about looking back, it's about learning from the past to create a better future. By remembering the horrors of slavery in Egypt, the Jewish people are reminded of the importance of fighting for justice and equality for all. They are reminded that silence in the face of oppression is complicity, and that we all have a moral obligation to speak out against injustice. The Passover story teaches us that freedom is not a given. It's a precious gift that must be cherished, protected, and fought for. It's a reminder that the fight for justice and equality is an ongoing struggle, and that we must never forget the lessons of the past. Section 11. Freedom's Price, Gratitude, and Responsibility. The Israelites' exodus from Egypt came at a price. They endured years of slavery, witnessed plagues that devastated the land, and faced the very real threat of death. Their freedom was not a gift freely given, it was hard-won, a testament to their resilience, faith, and the sacrifices of those who came before them. The Passover story reminds us that freedom is not free. It comes with a responsibility to use our freedom wisely, to fight for the rights of others, and to never take our own liberties for granted. It's a call to action, urging us to be grateful for the freedoms we enjoy and to use them to make the world a more just and equitable place for all. Let us honor the sacrifices of those who came before us by using our freedom to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to live with dignity, respect, and equality. Section 12. Hope in Darkness, a Universal Message. The story of the angel of death passing over Egypt is ultimately a story about hope. It's a story about the power of faith to sustain us through even the darkest of times. It's a reminder that no matter how dire our circumstances may seem, there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow. The Israelites, facing seemingly insurmountable odds, never gave up hope. They clung to their faith, trusting that God would deliver them from bondage. And in the end, their faith was rewarded. The Passover story reminds us that even in the face of adversity, despair, and uncertainty, hope can endure. It encourages us to hold on to that hope, to nurture it, and to allow it to guide our actions. Section 13. Join the journey, explore, learn, and share. The story of the angel of death passing over Egypt is just one of many fascinating and thought-provoking stories found within the pages of history and religious texts. These stories offer valuable insights into the human condition, challenge our perspectives, and inspire us to live more meaningful lives. I encourage you to delve deeper into this story, to explore its nuances, and to reflect on its relevance to your own life. Share this story with others, engage in meaningful conversations, and let us continue to learn and grow together. Thank you for joining me on this journey of exploration and discovery. If you found this video insightful and engaging, please come on over and join our family by subscribing to our channel and sharing it with your friends and family. Let's continue to explore the wonders of our universe, both near and far, together.